It's recording, right?
Cool.
How's my beard?
Fantastic.
So, you have any stories for
L'chaim, Chevret. Of course. Just got back from Eretz Israel. A lot going on. We know whatever's happening in Israel is a blueprint for whatever's happening in the entire world.
What do you mean?
So Israel is the navel, it's the place where the entire energy of the world enters. So basically the energy goes through Israel and then it channels to the four holy cities of Israel, which are the four basic elements of all of creation: fire, water, earth, and air. Every single thing in the world is composed of these four elements. Fire is Yerushalayim, earth is Hebron, water is Tiberia, and air is Sfat. Each one of those cities represent the four elements that God created the world with. So the energy goes into Israel, channels through those four holy cities, and then spreads out to the 70 ministering angels of every nation in the world. And from the ministering angel, the energy goes to the head or the leader or the president of that country, and then to all the people. That's how the flow of energy goes into the world. So when I say that whatever happens in Israel is a blueprint of what's happening in the entire world, it's not only what's happening in the world, but it's happening directly in Shemayim above, because Israel is literally the pipe where all that comes in. So I'll share some crazy experiences I had while I was there. But first we do want to say L'chaim and dedicate tonight's bringing to Rabbi Shalom Dovber Lipkar. What was his father's name? You know? Anyone know? Okay. Coming up, the father's name is Nasham B'Shem V'Aliyah. This week, Rabbi Lipkar passed away in Bal Harbor, and a tremendous, tremendous loss to not only the community in South Florida, but to the whole world. We had the schus of Rabbi Lipkar speaking at our grand opening event here 2 years ago. Dov started keeping Shabbos because of Rabbi Lipkar. I've met with him a few times and spent a bit of time with him. He's a very, very amazing, amazing person. He started, in addition to the Shul of Bal Harbor, the Torah Science Institute. People gathered from all over the world for a week convention in Miami Beach, connecting Torah and science. And he also started the Aleph Institute. The Aleph Institute is an organization that helps Jewish prisoners. So,
and our servicemen.
And our servicemen. Our Rebbe requested such a thing one time at a Farbringen, and Rabbi Lipkar took it upon himself to fulfill it, where the Rebbe said the importance of helping Jewish prisoners because they need a second chance and they need to be rehabilitated, and no one should give up on them, and a lot of people do. There's an interesting story. One time, every time Rabbi Lipkar went to the Rebbe or went by the Rebbe would ask him about Aleph and the prisoners and how it's going. And one time, Rabbi Lipkar brought a whole bunch of Jewish prisoners that got released to 770, and he, yeah, probably. And so they coordinated with the Rebbe's secretary, and the Rebbe told his secretary to let Rabbi Lipkar know that when they show up, they should all not walk in the room together into 770. So let them go in different small groups at a time, spread out over the course of a bit of time, separating it. So he asked why. He said because if a group of 40 or 50 not religious guys come in and they all look pretty rough, the entire 770 is going to turn around and start asking questions who they are. And I don't want, God forbid, anyone to say that these were Jewish prisoners and embarrass anyone. So I want to make sure that they blend in. That's tremendous. Yep. Yeah. So he spread them out in different times. Anyways, when the center first started, we used to go to Aleph once a month. We'd take a group of guys and we'd go visit Jewish prisoners. And it was really kind of trippy to see the different crimes they were in for, because we had access to their information sheets. And you'd go in there and you'd see a guy that looked like Woody Allen. I don't know if you know who that is, but I mean, like, total, like, nebbishy looking guy. What is he in for? Murder. What's this guy in for? Like grand theft, armed robbery. And you're looking at these guys, you're like, how is this possible? Anyways, one time we went in and we brought one of these guys from the center many, many years ago. His name was Or. He was a Sephardi guy. And we're walking down the halls of Aleph. It doesn't bother me, whatever. I used to do depositions in prison for prisoners we used to represent. It's not a fun place to be. Deposition, like in a court case, you have to go and get information from them. So we would represent people in prison. You had to go to visit them in prison. Don't get me wrong, it's not a place you want to be at, but...
Shalom Dover ben Rabbi Eliyahu Akiva.
Shalom Dover ben Rabbi Eliyahu Akiva. Shama should have an aliyah. So, prison's not a fun place where you want to hang out, but it didn't freak me out. But some of the guys got really freaked out. we're walking through the prison, and first of all, Dov can tell you, prison stinks. It's like, picture a school cafeteria times like 100. There's like a stench to a prison. And we're walking through the halls of the prison.
Worse than a hospital?
Yeah, worse than a hospital. It's that same stinky hospital smell, but worse. And you're in prison. And one of the guys who was with us, one of these Sephardi guys, Chavre, hello, please no crossfire. Could go in the other room. Thank you. Be with us. Be with us. You know, when you have a chain going around of a circuit, right? And there's electricity going through the circuit. If one of the breakers is off, the whole circuit stops. So when we're all together, we can have that energy flowing.
Don't bring presents, bring presents.
Yes. Anyways, so we're going through the prison, and one of these Sephardi guys was freaking out. He's saying this like under his breath. He's like, Hashem arachamim. He's like praying to God. He was so uncomfortable. And we're sitting there, and we're putting tefillin on all the prisoners, and I'm giving words of Torah, and they're like, you know, hard-looking dudes, some of them. There's always like a handful of guys that are clearly not Jewish, that want to put on tefillin because they want to get out of their prison cell, so they're not allowed, denied to religious observance. And I'm like, see this like big black guy. I'm like, are you Jewish? Yeah. Are you sure you're Jewish? Yeah. Is your father Jewish? Yeah. Is your mother Jewish? Yeah. I'm like, okay, yeah. And I'm like, all right. So I would just put on the tefillin without a bracha because I'm like, there's no way this guy's Jewish. Anyways, they wanted to get out. So there's some hardcore, like gangster-looking dudes there. And this guy sitting next to me is freaking out. He's like under his breath. He's like practically crying. It was so uncomfortable. I'm like, or chill, bro. They're not going to attack you. You know, like the wardens are. There's guards. You're cool. You know, we're putting tefillin. We're talking. And literally for an hour, he's like, oh my God, Shema Rachamim. So one of the guys, they love when people come.
Of course.
So they're so happy to have visitors. So one of the guys who was standing there, like sitting amongst us, he's like, yeah, I'm getting out next week. He's like, do you have any contacts for me or anything? Like when I get out, you know, maybe help me out? I'm like, sure. Or, yo, hook him up with your phone number. Tell him. He's like, and he just turned pale white, dude. And the guy looked at me. He's like, yeah. He's like, He's like, why are you doing this to me, bro? I was so nervous. Everyone was cracking up. So it was a cool experience visiting the Jewish prisoners. So anyways, L'chaim to Rabbi Lipkar for starting an amazing organization. So wow, a lot going on in Israel.
Also, the real estate prices because of him.
Yeah, Val Harbor's went through the roof.
Harbor, Surfside, Bay Harbor, it's all him.
So I want to share some crazy stuff with you. First, just a little beginning story. We got to the airport. Everything went good. We're like there on time, and we're checking in. And for some reason, my wife and I are able to check in, and our son and daughter are not. Now we're going for my son's bar mitzvah, mind you. And my wife has been organizing this for months. We had a party at the This is Israel. We got bar mitzvah at the Kotel, and we had like a party at the Tzemek Tzedek Shul. There's like 100 people. A lot of my wife's family, a bunch of friends. We had a couple center representatives there. Shmuel Andruzier, Reuven Ben David were there. And I have a lot of friends in Israel because I lived there for 4 years. And whatever, it was a pretty big event organized.
Where's the Tzemek Tzedek Shul?
In the old city, on Rehov Chabad. So we're going up to check in, and they don't let my son and daughter in. So they're going to go see the agent, whatever. We go see the agent, and she's like...
To get to Israel? Or
to get to Israel, like right in Fort Lauderdale Airport. She's like, where are the visas for the kids? I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, Israel just passed a new law, a couple months ago, that you have to have entry visas to get in the country. My wife and I have dual citizenship, so we didn't need it, but our kids are only citizens of America. We're like, what do you mean visa? She goes, you need an entry visa for the kids. I'm like, no one told me. She's like, I don't know what to tell you. They won't let you board the plane. I'm like, so how do I get it? She's like, you need to apply for it online. I'm like, how long does it take? She goes, I don't know, it could be a couple days. I'm like, what? I went online. There's like, you got to spend a few $100 to get an emergency petition to get your visas. I applied for the emergency petition. It says 2 to 3 hours. I'm like, we're not going to make our flight. She's like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm like, no, we have to get on this flight. You don't understand. We've got a big party over there. She's like, I'm sorry, but it's not my call. It's immigration. I'm like, all right, well, can we just fly to New Jersey, where the layover is? And then we get there. By that time, the visas will be approved. She goes, no, it's an international ticket. They won't let you go on. So what do I do? She goes, you have to cancel the ticket and go buy a new ticket. And she started going online. She's like, there's no seats available. We're literally there for 45 minutes. There's a huge line behind us. My son is like wigging out, like freaking out. He can't believe we're not going to be able to go to his bar mitzvah. We missed the flight. We can't get on the flight. And it's just chaos. And I'm telling this lady, I'm like, you don't understand, this is very important. We have a big party plan. She goes, sir, I don't know what to tell you. She's checking. She's like, will you drive to Orlando? I'm like, I'll drive anywhere. Orlando, Tampa, Palm Beach. No tickets anywhere. Nothing. She's like, Jacksonville. I'm like, Jacksonville, fine. We can't find a single ticket for the next 2 days. Anywhere.
To New Jersey?
No, to Israel. To go through a different city, whatever the case may be. We couldn't even get to New Jersey. So we can't find tickets anywhere. She's looking through the system. Hello. And my son Shiloh is like freaking out. Like, the whole airport's like in turmoil. And my wife's like, what do I do? And I'm like, I don't know what to do. So we found a ticket like the next week, but the bar mitzvah was on Thursday. We're landing on Wednesday. We're like, we have to cancel the bar mitzvah and try to schedule another day. My wife's like, I can't. My whole family's going to be there. We were literally there for 45 minutes, complete chaos. Shiloh's crying, freaking out. My wife's freaking out. I'm standing there, the huge line behind me. I'm like, you have to do something. She's like, I'm doing everything I can. And she sees my son behind, so upset. She's like, let me see what I could do. And there's this huge line. And I'm like, I'm trying to stay calm, but my nerves are kicking up. And right away, I'm starting to do the analysis in my brain. Sometimes it's not so clear whether God is sending us a message of, don't go. There's a reason for you not to be there. Or keep trying as hard as you can to make it work. And I'm like closing my eyes, davening, like, Hashem, give me a message. I don't know what to do. Do I keep trying? Do I let go? And what I felt was I need to keep doing everything possible to make it work. And if it doesn't work, then it's from Shemayim, but I can't give up. I must keep pushing ahead. And I'm starting to sweat, and I don't know what to do. The lady's like, I can't find a ticket anywhere. And I turned around, and there's this black dude standing behind me, huge line, and he looks at me, he goes, it could always be worse. And I'm like, you know what?
Damn straight.
You're right, it can always be worse. It could always be worse. And I paused for a second, and I started breathing. When in one of my many therapy sessions, I've been to every kind of therapy you could imagine, I was working with an EMDR coach. And he told me one of the problems I had was called 0 to 10ing. Meaning your reaction is not proportionate with the event that's before you. So someone says something to you and it triggers you, all of a sudden you start going crazy, like, hold on a second, so what? Like, what did he say? Like, what's the big deal? Like, chill out. Like what? Why are you flying off the handle? Or someone cuts you off and you're screaming or yelling, or you have a situation that's stressful and you go off the handle and your reaction is not proportionate to what happened. Because it's 0 to 10. You're at 0, you go up to a 10 of your emotions, of your anger. So one of the tools he taught me was that the first thing to do if you're in an uncomfortable situation or it looks like something's not going good or bad like the way you want it to be, pause a second and say, am I safe right now? Am I okay? Am I, God forbid, in danger? If you're not in danger, physically, bodily, or something bad's not about to happen to you, calm down. Because whatever it is, there's a solution and it could be fixed. It may not be the solution you want, but it's from God, and it's relaxed. So I thought about this guy said, and at first I felt like screaming, like, don't tell me it could be worse, but I was like, all right, this is from Shemayim. Someone is talking to me and giving me a message, and it calmed me down. I said, you're right, it could always be worse. And as soon as I calmed down and I started breathing, and I said, Hashem, you're in charge. Please, this is my son's bar mitzvah. We put a lot of time and money into this. Please make it work. If it doesn't, I accept it, and it's your will, and it's for the best, whatever it may be. At that moment, the lady behind the counter says, listen, I could get in trouble for this, but I'm going to do it anyways. Don't let anyone know. I feel terrible for you and your family. She goes, I'm going to try to book you on a different airline.
All of us know.
Huh? You got to find that same exact lady in the airport. She goes, I'm going to try to book you on a different airline. I'm not supposed to do this. I'm not going to charge you anything. Because usually they want to charge you the ticket price at that moment. Now imagine booking a ticket to Israel an hour before you need to go, what the prices are like. She's like, I'm not going to charge you any more money. I'm going to just transfer the ticket. Let me see if we're any partners. She said, I found a flight on Lufthansa to Germany to Israel. And when we were looking for tickets, there was cheaper tickets on Lufthansa to Germany. My wife's like, I'm not going to Germany. I don't care. I don't want to go on Lufthansa. So I'm like, guess what? We found tickets to Germany on Lufthansa. Wow. The day before Yom HaShoah. Holocaust Day.
They were going to let you switch airlines and not charge you a dime for it, just use your original tickets?
Yes.
That's insane.
It's insane. But what's more insane is it happened the moment that I let go, and I asked Hashem for guidance, and I said, whatever it is, it's your will, and I'm going to accept it. At that moment is when it happened. Anyway, she finds us tickets. We go on Lufthansa. We wound up going through Germany. It was a very interesting experience. I've never been to Germany. I was joking with my kids the entire plane ride because the stewardess come over and she's like, "Would you like the goulash or the Wiener Schnitzel?" She has this like very intense German accent. My wife and my son were very uncomfortable in the airport in Germany.
Having Jewish blood?
Would you like the Wiener Schnitzel or the goulash?
I'll take one hallelujah, please.
That's what they sounded like. They all sounded like they were like, dancing with the pointy wood shoes. Anyways, we got to Israel. Yeah, I never traveled around. We're in Israel, and as soon as we get in the car and start driving to Jerusalem, Jerusalem's burning. There's fires everywhere. They said it was the worst fires ever in the history of Israel. There's flames, like literally driving on the road from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, and there's flames going up all over the place. My wife and her are like, what is going on? Like, this is like pretty trippy. Thank God it didn't come to us. Of course, it was a bunch of Arabs that are terrorists that committed arson. Hamas was posting all over their messaging channels on Telegram and everything. Go burn Israel, burn Jerusalem, burn Israel. And this is how we entered into Israel. Anyways, Baruch Hashem, everything wound up going good. We had the bar mitzvah, everything was amazing. Baruch Hashem. Thank you. So I want to share something that's really crazy with you guys.
I'm telling you, it's on video.
So the first Shabbat we're there, we spent in Tzfat with my rabbi, Rabbi Shner Zalman ben Sarah. Rabbi Gaffney, he should live and be well, and we have a refuah shlema. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Amen. Be well.
And the second Shabbat we spent in Kfar Chabad. It's a dear friend of mine lives in Kfar Chabad. Maybe some of you guys heard of Avi Piamenta. He's a musician.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been very close when I went to yeshiva there 17, 18, 20 years ago. I used to eat at his house all the time and learn with him. He's a very, very amazing person. People look at him like he's just a music player, but he's a big mashpia. He helps a lot of people, and he's a very deep person. He learns the Rebbe Stichlis very deeply. And we got into a conversation about Donald Trump. He's like, no, so what do you think of Trump? He made this video when Trump got elected. It's a beautiful video, like a whole music video. It was like the national anthem of America, redone, saluting President Trump with the American flag. And he's like, so what do you think of President Trump? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, if you ask me, he's like Achashverosh, meaning that he could be good for the Jewish people or he could be bad for the Jewish people. He could go with Haman or he could go with Mordechai. It depends on who is influencing him. He's like, how could you say that? What do you mean? I'm like, well, first of all, right before he became president, he put tremendous pressure on Israel to release hundreds and hundreds of terrorists in Israeli jails for every hostage. Thousands, hundreds per hostage. He didn't care there was a good deal or a bad deal. He just wanted to get the publicity out there. His son, Jared Kushner, happens to run a multi-billion-dollar hedge fund for the Saudi princes in Saudi Arabia. And they have a lot of connections to Qatar, to Arab countries. The other hand, he's done a lot of very good things for the Jewish people. Look at what he's doing to curb anti-Semitism. Look what he has done to try to help get the hostages out. Look, he moved the embassy to Yerushalayim. He's doing a lot of good. So it's a confusing message. I said, so I'm not certain. He said, I'm certain that Donald Trump is good for the Jewish people. I said, why? He said, because the Rebbe said so. I said, the Rebbe said so? He said, yes. I said, the Rebbe spoke to Donald Trump? He said, not directly, but I'll show you what I'm talking about. And we learned this crazy sikha from Vayakel Pekudei and Nun Aleph. The Rebbe brings out an amazing message. First, a little backstory. I don't know if you're aware of this, but it's known in the Gemara that right before Geula comes, the only three nations in the world that will be remaining of any sort of power or significance will be Yaakov, Esau, and Yishmael. In other words, the Jews, the Arabs, and the Catholics. Catholics. Christians, Western civilization. Eastern civilization in Middle East. It's not ironic. It's exactly what the Gemara says. Yeah. So it's known that the Gemara says these will be the final three nations left. There's multiple opinions that Yishmael, Esau, and Yaakov, right? Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. So there's also opinions in the Gemara that at the end Yishmael will be defeated. They will be gone. And it will just be Esau left together with Yaakov. There's another opinion that Yishmael will do tshuva. But everyone agrees the final galut is Edom. That's the final exile. Edom is Rome. Okay? Esau, when he was 15 years old, they gave him a second name of Edom because he was red. And it was called Edom. It's known that Edom, which is Rome, eventually became America.
That's why they wear red.
Could be. Western civilization. So, I don't know if you know this, but in the Gemara Shabbos, no, Rome, the nation, the country of Rome, in Italy, where the Vatican is. Edom. Edom and Rome is the same thing.
They call it Edom.
Yeah, that's one of the names of Rome is called Edom. So Esau is called also Edom. So it's known, there's a very crazy Gemara in Gemara Shabbos that explains that Rome didn't exist. In other words, before the times of Noah, there was only one continent in the world. And then after the sin what happened to Noah, God and the flood, after the flood emerged, God split the entire world into 7 continents. It was one continent.
So that's where the real Pangea comes from.
Yeah. Rome was not on the map. It didn't exist. You know when Rome came into existence? Anyone know when Rome came into existence?
1432.
It's a good guess.
No.
Close.
What historical
1231.
historical significant event happened that caused Rome to come into existence?
Had to do with Trojan Wars?
No. All right. Shlomo HaMelech married Paro's daughter.
Oh, the flower girl. No?
Married whose daughter?
Paro.
Harold?
Pharaoh.
Harold.
Paro, however you want to say it. Shlomo HaMelech married Paro's daughter after, I think it was his 1000th wife, and she introduced him to Avodah Zarah. It's a whole long story. She taught him special musical tunes, and the tunes were different ways of serving out. Yeah, Shlomo HaMelech married Paro's daughter.
He was into Avodah Zarah.
He wasn't until he married her, but she tricked him. She caused him to get confused. So she taught him different songs, and each song had a different way of serving a different idol, and she seduced him. And she caused him to start singing these songs. At that moment, the angel Gabriel came down from Shemayim and took like a giant, like a spear of earth, it was called a reed, smashed it into the water, and when he pulled it back out, Rome, Italy, pulled out. Boom. If you look at Italy, it's they call it a boot. It's not really part of the continent. It's a long thing that's sticking out from the bottom of Europe. So when Gabriel, the angel Gabriel, put his hand into the water there and pulled it out, he pulled out that country, which became Italy, and he said, this country, and Rome especially, will be a weapon against the Jewish people until the end of times, as a punishment for Shlomo HaMelech marrying Paro's daughter. And it says when Mashiach comes...
Didn't exist before that?
Huh? No. When Mashiach comes, the Malach Michael is going to go back over to Rome, to Italy, once again take it, and this time he's going to shove it back in the water, and all the wealth of the Vatican will come out of the water and wash up on the shores of Israel.
But it's Avodah Zarah money.
It's money. It's God's money. So we
But it's Avodah Zarah money. You can't use it.
No, you can't. No way. It's just like Egypt. How come we're Egypt? We took all the money out of Egypt.
Egyptians were drowned. We
Took all the money
all
out.
wealth.
God put the money in the mikveh, in the water. And the wicked took out. So understand something, that Rome, or the Vatican City, is not, it's a sovereign nation. It's not a country. It's not part of Italy. The Vatican has its entire own government, its entire own laws. It is not subject to the laws or jurisdiction of anyone. It's called a sovereign nation.
Pedophiles.
Oh my God, don't even get me started. It's a sovereign nation. What's crazy, I think I told you this guys before, that the entire United Nations, you could Google it, this is wild stuff. You can't make this up. It's so crazy how, this is not common knowledge, but the United Nations is all the nations in the world. What are they united against? They're united against God and Israel. They're trying to cause negative energy to come into the world. So there's only 2 countries that are called observing countries, meaning they're not part of the actual UN body. They sit above the entire UN and they observe and kind of manipulate the whole UN. Those 2 countries are the Vatican and Palestine.
You mean Israel?
We know it's Israel, but they're calling what they think is it's the Arab nations, Palestine. Meaning they, Yishmael and Esau, are controlling the entire United Nations.
Really?
Yeah. You could Google it. There's only 2 sovereign nations that
Oh, it's my
sit
entire
over.
Instagram feed.
Palestine?
Sit
Palestine
over.
is a sovereign nation?
No, there's only 2 countries that rule the UN. Palestine is not. But it is one of the, what we call as observing countries.
Wow.
So these 2 energies control everything. And these are the final 2 energies or countries that will be left before Mashiach comes. So now let's fast forward a bit. After the Vatican in Rome, that energy continued to travel further west to America. America is known as the extension of Italy or Rome or the Vatican. It was built on Christian values. And these are the final 2, America and Iraq, Iran, whatever it is in that corner of the country right now, which is Yishmael and Esau. Those are the final 2 energies left in the world. Okay? Now this is really crazy. So the Rebbe explains in the Sikha that I'm talking about, it said that Moshe Rabbeinu is connected to Mashiach. We know the first Redeemer and the last Redeemer are connected. Moshe is connected to Geula. And how did Moshe get his name? Because he was drawn from the water. His name means taken from the water, drawn from the water. So what happens? It's known that Moshe's mother, Miriam, went to place Moshe in the basket in the water, but she couldn't because the Nile was used for Avodah Zarah. It was a place of klipa. Very, very negative things going on in there. So she didn't know what to do, so she put him in a basket, and they're trying to find another way to bring him into the water to safety. At that moment, the daughter of Pharaoh, Batia, went into the Nile River to convert. She was going to Toivel to convert. And as soon as she went in the river to convert to Judaism, that's when the river got purified, and Moshe's mother Miriam was able to put Moshe into the water. Now the Rebbe says over there a fascinating thing. He says that Batia was the daughter of Pharaoh. Pharaoh was not only the ruler of Egypt, but the ruler of the entire world. And that the ruler of the entire world and the Goyim in the end of times will be the one who will be assisting the Jewish people bring the redemption. Now, who is the ruling country in the world right now? It's America. And who's the ruler of America? Donald Trump.
Donald J.
And what did Donald Trump's daughter do? She converted to Judaism.
Wow.
Now, if you think these things are a coincidence, I could tell you a little bit more. Donald Trump, say whatever you want of him, has continuously been doing a lot to combat anti-Semitism. He cut off funding to Columbia. He cut off funding to Harvard. Columbia University, filled with anti-Semites. Country now, Columbia University.
I don't know what Jews are there. It's the safest place in the world.
Tons and tons of He's doing a lot to combat anti-Semitism. So he's doing many things to help bring the redemption. On top of it, what do people who dislike Trump call him? They call him the Orange Man, because his skin is orange. What is Esau? Edom, red. Now understand another thing. Every single, as we spoke at the beginning of this little Farbrengen here, that every country in the world, all 70 nations are ran by their ministering angel above. So it says when Melech HaMashiach will be fighting the wars of God and will be victorious. It doesn't mean he's going to be down here in this world fist fighting or shooting with weapons. It means up in Shemayim, he's going to be taking out the ministering angels of every single country one at a time. And when that ministering angel falls, that person falls. The head of every country don't have free choice. They're not processing information. The head of that nation is getting their energy directly from above, from their ministering angel, and their mouth is open up, and whatever they're saying, they don't even know where they're saying it. Look at Donald Trump. He's a lunatic. He speaks without processing information because it's not his thoughts. It's not his ideas. He's literally just shooting out the energy that's coming from his ministering angel. You all know the famous story how the Rebbe killed Pompadour, right? The the head, the president, prime minister, whatever is of France. It's a crazy story.
If he was speaking words of an angel, wouldn't it make absolute sense and not sound like absolute gibberish?
What?
No.
What
The
is
whole
connection?
idea is that if you've ever
What is the
heard,
connection?
if someone's giving over a prophecy,
Angels are perfect.
no, first of all, it's not a Jewish angel.
Every person that
It's a ministering angel of the nation of the world. And the idea is,
manifests in reality, in physicality, which is so far from perfect.
so I'll give you an
You can't have
idea. If
perfection
you've ever
in
seen someone who's like
physicality.
really high on drugs, when people would give prophecy over, like at the times of the prophets, they would be speaking so fast and so no one could comprehend what they're saying because the mouth, the vessel of speech can't contain that energy that's flowing. So they're just saying random things. Now, on top of it, who did Trump dress up as last week? The Pope.
You know, they replaced him, yeah? They replaced him with a guy from Chicago.
Trump made an AI, him himself. Trump took AI and posted a picture of himself as the Pope. The Pope is the head of the Vatican.
That smirk on his face in that picture.
Do you see how crazy all this is connected?
Where's the
Pope, you can Google it. So Donald Trump dressed up as the Pope. But hold on a second. Hold on a second. What I'm trying to explain, how can you say such a thing? The message I'm trying to give across is Donald Trump didn't sit and say, I have an idea, let me dress up and make myself an AI as the Pope. He's not thinking. And energy is coming from above him, from the ministering angel of America, which is Adon, which is Rome, and channeling this energy into him. This is the final nation, Esau. Today, the Vatican just announced a new Pope. The first time in the history of the Vatican, the Pope is American. Are you making the connections here? Am I the only one who sees this?
We are making the connection to women being schizophrenic pills as soon as possible.
He's transgender too.
Rob, I think I'm going to have to revoke your Reddit privilege.
My father said that.
Your dad says he's transgender.
I mean,
But he's out of the trenches.
come on, guys.
Wife is.
This is absolutely wild. This is
Oh
absolutely
no, I
wild.
think he said he's
He's definitely on par.
So, this isn't. I'm not making this up. I'm telling you what it says in the Torah. What's happening in the world. I'm not creating this. So, when the Rebbe killed Pompadour, the head, the prime minister of France, it's a whole crazy story. Now for bringing, he also killed Stalin when he said hoorah, hoorah, hoorah. So he wasn't killing him. He killed his ministering angel. How can it be that the entire regime of Syria overnight just collapsed? You had a very powerful terrorist-sponsoring nation that was in a very strong position, and the next day gone, wiped out. Because the Rebbe, Melech HaMashiach, is taking out the ministering angels above, one by one by one by one. So as the Rebbe said in the Sirah from Vayakal Pekudei in Nun Aleph, that the leader of the world in the final end of times will help the Goyim and the Jewish people, and people will see how Goyim and Jews will see how he's helping the Jews bring about the redemption. So that's when Avi told me, listen, I don't care about his political leanings. I don't care about where he stands and what. He's not thinking about what he's doing. It's channeling to him from above. And it says clearly that the final ruler, which we know we're in the final exile, will be helping the Jewish people bring the redemption. And that's what's happening. So the Chaim, we should see the Gula Mitzvah Shlema right now. And everyone should be living. It should all be revealed. It is revealed. I just revealed it.
Revealed to people that
Just revealed it, man. Just taking a pair of glasses.
people should be able to see it.
That's it.
Without your
Amen. Amen. That's up to you to make sure that everyone sees this.
I don't know how much of this is going to go fly.
Chaim the Bracha.
I don't know how much of this is going to fly on social media, if you ask me.
Why? It's juicy stuff.
It's juicy stuff. You want me to just post it and say,
We'll do both.
It's very controversial.
So what?
Yeah, let's do it. Controversy. Let's go views.
So what?
We'll get views with controversy.
Chaim the
Well,
Bracha.
disable the comments for these.